It feels really weird to start with our gong, but good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Community Unitarian Universalist Church here in Plano, Texas. My name is Reverend Dr. Aija Duelm. I am the minister here at this congregation. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And so glad to see you here today on our special Sunday. We are a faith that affirms the dignity of all beings, puts love at the center, and works for justice. And we work together to create a community where we can find some respite from the craziness that is out there, to be able to remind one another and ourselves as well of what is really important and who do we want to be. In order for us to have this community, we give from ourselves, from our time, from talents and treasures to create this place and things that we do, because it is us who makes this community. Sometimes we wish we had some superpowers, and I'm here to tell you that we do have them. We have some superpowers here among us, and we do a lot of things where we use them. And on this Superhero Sunday, we will explore what are these superpowers and the capes, and I have the red one, capes that we wear. We have a special visual that Donna Benning brought for us. This is, the picture was painted by Lionel Benning about 60 years ago, so that's why it looks a little yellowish. So this is one of ours who created it. Lionel died earlier this year, but we still have some of his work with us. We do some things here that save lives, that change people's lives and experiences, that transform ourselves and our lives. And these superpowers that we have here, if you care to guess, some acts of kindness in the light of the hate that we see, some justice-seeking efforts, our own vulnerability to express the feelings and gratitude that in the world that values power and might and individualism, but not the emotional world as much. And so today we will offer our gratitude to all our volunteers who make this place possible, because our community is shaped by all who are here, by all that we do, by our work, by our efforts. Even our visitors are part of who we are. Thank you for all you do, and to make this place a meaningful place for connections, where love and care can be shared as part of our superpowers. And thank you for bringing capes to the service to spread, and beyond the service, to spread goodness and love in the world. Wherever you are on your journey, we're welcome here. Our call to worship is adapted from Christian Schmidt. No matter who or what you are welcome here. Let's be clear. Here, we welcome goblins and ghouls, saints and sinners, zombies and werewolves, vampires and witches. We welcome princesses and princes, aliens and astronauts, robots and cyborgs, cowboys, cowgirls, cowfolk of all variety. We welcome Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, Batman, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Thor. Indeed, we welcome both superheroes and superstars. In short, we welcome all people and all other manner of creatures. Here we welcome you and all who and what you are, with us all, with all of your superpowers, your powers of kindness and care and love, your powers to make a world a better place for all. Welcome. Let us worship together.
We will begin by lighting our chalice. Jan Scott is going to light it for us. It's a symbol of Unitarian Universalism and the light of hope. Each Sunday, when we gather, we light the symbol of life. Jan Scott's going to do it for us.
These words were written by Cynthia Landrum, inspired by Spider-Man, Green Lantern, and the Human Torch, in keeping with our hero theme today. Mindful that with great power comes great responsibility, we light this chalice in the hopes that in brightest day or darkest night, our faith will flame on.
And that's by Spider-Man, Green Lantern, Human Torch, and it's compiled by Cynthia Landrum. Now it's time for the congregational covenant, and a covenant is a promise we make with one another about the way we will walk together as a community, a congregation. Please join me in reminding ourselves of this promise. You can read from the screen.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another.
So, for the story time, of course, we need to talk about the superheroes. And I have the red cape and the red mask, and some of us have blue and green and blacks and other kinds of colors. Why do superheroes wear capes? Aerodynamics. Here we go. What else?
To look cool.
To look cool. Yes. What else? They're expected. It's just expected. They have to wear capes.
Their union contract.
It's part of their contract.
Fashion statement.
So, fashion statement, yes, so that we can identify which one is which, right? Okay. They also use their capes to hide some of the superheroes, right? Be in disguise, in a shadow. But they also signify power. When you have a cape, you have a power, some kind of form of power. What kind of powers do they have? Superheroes have. Fly. They're superpowers, right? Strength, hearing, fire, ability to see. Second.
Leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Leap tall buildings with just one attempt, right? Superman, right? Be real fast, yes. So they have the super abilities, right? There is also some capes in some forms, some stories, symbolize nobility, some kind of elevated status in their world, in their society. There's also some mystery surrounding the capes, and kind of present some presence. When they show up with the cape, they announce themselves powerfully. So, can we name some superheroes? Wonder Woman. That's what I have here. The red cape, right? Say again?
Wonder Woman doesn't have cape.
Some age she does. Okay, more names. Black Widow. Spider-Man. Batman. Shazam. I don't know that. Shazam. Oh, that's the one. Okay, here we go. I don't know all of them because there are like more than 100 of them. So that's helpful that you know more than I do. So, Batman uses his cape.
Yes.
Robin, okay. So Batman uses the cape to hide in shadows and shield himself from bullets. So apparently the cape is bulletproof, not mine, but Batman's is. Doctor Strange, the cape enables Doctor Strange to fly. So I guess there's some aerodynamics that was mentioned right here. Superman uses the cape to protect people, the civilians, right? What do superheroes do with their powers? Help people, right? They help them. So do we have superpowers to help people? Yes, we do. What are they? Love, kindness, compassion, generosity, empathy, care. We have superpowers here. Resistance, perseverance. We're not going to give up. Comic channel? Common sense. Hopefully here we do, right? We have common sense. Empathy. All of these. Yes, there are superheroes in modern days that do not wear capes. Somebody mentioned that earlier. Capes kind of originated in their 30s, and you'll hear more about that because I did some research on the Google about the history of capes. But the modern day heroes, and who has seen here Incredibles? Ooh, yes. So Incredibles are about family of 3, 4, 5. Do any of them have capes? No. Because they traded the capes for some very aerodynamic suits that help them to move better. Capes can get trapped in, when you run somewhere, they can get trapped in between the chairs or things, right? They sometimes are in the way. So they improved their outfits, I guess, are superheroes. But we still can wear capes if we don't want to run too fast. If we work around caring and loving and compassion and empathy, we can wear our capes. Some of us have invisible capes. Today, I see many of them. But it's okay, one day a year, to actually bring them out in public and show them off. We all have heroes that we look up to. Children in every generation want to become heroes themselves. But each generation has its own vision of what a hero is, what a hero looks like, and what a hero does. Today we celebrated our volunteers. our heroes who have worked this year to make this place more meaningful, more welcoming, a place where we can find support, care, and spiritual nourishment, where we had opportunities to join together with each other in our work for justice in this world. Because it takes all of us to do this work. And it takes all of our skills and all of our talents. Some of these skills are the true superpowers that are able to save lives, transform our experiences, transform ourselves. And we mentioned some of these, the acts of kindness in this environment of hate, the work toward justice in this environment where people are being erased and rights are being taken away, the ability to open up and be vulnerable with each other in a world that worships power and individualism. These are our superpowers. And to celebrate these powers that we share with each other, we are wearing capes today. There is no written record to tell us when the cape first made its appearance in history. But most likely it has been around since the beginning of times. One of the earliest accounts date back to 1066. This account depicts a costume plate on which there is a soldier or a shepherd wearing a cape across the shoulders. Another account from 1300s shows a woman wearing a cape attached to the collar of her dress. These early accounts refer to capes as mantles or cloaks. There are many different ways that capes are used today. Many police units across the world allow both men and women wear capes to protect them in cold and rain. In the superhero comic book world, the capes were introduced in 1930s, and this idea came from the circus strongmen. There was also pulp fiction vigilantes like Zorro, who wore a cloak to hide their identity. In the 20th century, in the later part, superheroes began to abandon their capes, mostly because they were impractical, tactically dangerous, frequently got caught in machinery or grabbed by enemies. So these modern costume designs, like the ones we see in The Incredibles, favors utilitarian, aerodynamic, and skin-tight combat suits over these flowing garments. But even in religious traditions, we find stories of heroes who wear capes. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, there's a story about Elijah and his cloak. Elijah was a prophet, one of those prophets who did not write their own book. But we can read about him and things he did in the book of Kings. He lived during a time when a king Ahab ruled over the northern Israel. And this was not a favored king. He married Jezebel, who persuaded Ahab to worship her god, Baal. So Ahab built a temple for Baal and told all the Israelites to worship Baal. As you can imagine, Israel God did not like that. So God sent Elijah to warn the king that there will be no rain if they continue this way. The king got very angry with Elijah, and that meant Elijah had to go in hiding. While in hiding, he met a woman who was gathering sticks for fire and had very little food left. This was going to be the last meal she had, and she offered it to Elijah. In return, she and her son would never go hungry again. That is the promise that Elijah gave her from God. So after 3 years of no rain, 3 years of hiding, Elijah went back to the king, and this time the king was listening to Elijah because, the rain has not been there for 3 years. Elijah was able to show people that God has power to bring fire from heaven, which Baal could not do. And so people turned around and began to worship the God, the Israelites' God. They changed their ways, and it began to rain. Well, the king and his wife Jezebel did not like that at all. So that meant Elijah had to run and hide for his life again. During these most scary times, God came to Elijah in a sheer silence. Elijah wrapped his cloak around him, stood in front of the mouth of the cave, and heard that still small voice and knew it was God speaking. Well, God told Elijah to go back to his people, and that's what he did. He went back. When it was time for Elijah to die, he was together with his friend Elisha. And I know, Elijah, Elisha, these are two different people. Elisha was a mentee, a student of Elijah who was following him and learning from him. And Elisha really wanted to inherit these powers, the Spirit of God that Elijah had, with which Elijah did all of these miraculous things. So at that time, there were about 50 other prophets nearby watching them. Elijah and Elisha were at the river of Jordan, and Elijah took his cloak, his mantle, struck the river, the water separated, and they crossed the river on the dry ground. They kept walking and talking, and suddenly a chariot showed up with fires, chariot of fires, and the horses were in front of it. And this chariot took Elijah up to heaven. Elijah is one of those people who do not die in these stories. He goes to heaven in a chariot, in a whirlwind. So this is when Elisha is able to pick up the cape, the mantle that Elijah left behind. And he continues to carry Elijah's legacy forward. He's able to part the river Jordan. He's able to feed the hungry. He heals the sick, even raises Shunammite's woman's son from the dead. Elijah also acted as a trusted, bold advisor to the kings of Israel. Ahab dies by then. Elisha frequently uncovered and thwarted enemy ambush plans and then blinded the Aramean army, but he showed them mercy instead of killing them. So yes, Elisha had a mentor, a hero, that he looked up to, who taught him the many things that he needed to know. And I wonder, who fills that role for you, for us? Who is our mentor, the person that you look up to? Or maybe you are the mentor to someone else. If you allow yourselves to look inside, you might be able to find that you have been Elijah or Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman all along. It is not very often that we get to hear from others about ways we have changed their lives, had an impact on their decisions, showed others by example of what love might look in action. But we all have some amazing powers with which we make a difference in this world. You make a difference in the life of this community. When I see this community grow deeper in faith and commitment, when we show up to the events, whether our social justice events or our fundraisers, when we volunteer and experience as much or maybe more joy than exhaustion, when we welcome children and youth who are restless sometimes and need movement and sound, and we open our arms and tell them, yes, please, we are glad you are here. When we share our heart, listen with compassion, offer our care, we have opened up space to others, a sense of safety and inclusion. And these are no small acts of kindness, because at times they are huge to the other person, in whose eyes we just became a hero. A hero with a cape, or maybe with an invisible one. Our actions make a difference. And as much as we look up to others for an example, we also become an example. We become mentors and lead by example ourselves. And as in community, as in any community, we take turns to lead. Today, after the service, and I hope you can stay, grab a snack in the Founders Hall and come back, we will be electing our next leaders. They will continue to carry the work. They may already have come with the mantle, and maybe they will need one. They will need to receive one. All of us, the rest of us, are called to join in to support them in their work, to offer our presence, our care, and our wisdom so that they can bloom in their leadership and guide us forward as we walk together in our faith. Here, we have a deep and rich legacy that we can offer to our successors. This mantle, the complete Unitarian Universalist mantle, is the one that we can offer to each other. And you know, this is the one that Elisha would have wanted if he was here with us. Because we have power here. Power that changes lives, softens hearts, and lifts us up. That is the mantle, the cape that each of us carry.
As our worship time this morning draws to a close, it's time now to extinguish the chalice. Please join me now in reciting these words.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
The benediction for our going forward. As we end our time together today in spiritual community, may we depart this sacred space knowing that blessings shall follow us all the days of our lives. If we live in and return to right relationships, if we extend grace and forgiveness to ourselves and others, if we behold mercy as a spiritual superpower, if we emanate the greater love that holds us close, may our lives radiate the blessings that we have been given. May kindness and compassion fall gently from us. May there be peace in the world, and may it begin with us.